Okay, quick music disclaimer here. I do not own the rights to this music, which belongs to the rightful owner, who is the intoxicating mind of Dr. Frankenstein. So he made my intro and my outro, and I hope you guys enjoy. Check them out on Spotify and YouTube, and no copyright infringement is intended. Have a good day.
A clear choice of good versus evil, of right versus wrong.
Twisted Tales.
Alright, welcome back to Twisted Tales, folks. So tonight's tale, me and Josh are gonna do some fucking folklore for you. So this will take away from all the Bundy stuff I've been working on here, because it's been a bitch to work on like every person that he murdered and everything, but I think I got like 2 more episodes left after this one, and it'll be done. So this tale here is gonna be a cool one here. It's actually associated with an old clan called Donald, and it's about the legend of the ghost of a large, shaggy gray dog with an unearthly wail. So yeah, this dog appears at the hour of any of the clan members' death. So any of the MacDonalds of Meoble, this is of the clan MacDougall, who are the descendants of Chief Dougals of Morar. So a little bit about this dude here in the clan. Now Chief Dougal of Morar is not a historical figure, but he likely refers to Dougal MacRory, who was the first chief of the clan MacDougall and the son of Somerled. Now, this dude kind of ruled the heartland of modern-day Argyll, including the whole area around Morar, initially the areas in the mainland and the island of Islay. Now, this is way back in the 12th century, mind you, and he was the founder of the clan and dubbed as King in the South Isles and the Lord of Lorne. So this guy's a pretty big deal, eh, Josh?
Yeah, and I really like how is this what Irish people, Scottish? I like
Scottish, I
how
believe.
the Scottish people name their shit Argyll and Morar and Islay, like fucking dope.
Oh,
That's all I
yeah.
have to say on that.
Now, Dougal here was the eldest son of the famous warrior King Somerled of the Hebrides and Argyll. So, after his father's death back in the year 1164, Dougal inherited his father's mainland kingdom, which include much of Argyll. And all this dude had followers too, like a whole shitload. Like he had a whole clan, obviously Clan MacDougall, who then became known as the MacDougals, meaning son of Dougal.
They had a lot of sway around these parts and a very powerful influence that once stretched well across the Western Highlands and the Hebrides, rivaling the Scottish and English monarchs, with their chiefs holding the prestigious title of Lord of the Isles. The clan's history is rich with significant historical sites, including Armadale Castle and Finnegan Castle, and includes a branch known as the MacDonalds of Clan Ranald. Notable Clan Donald sites include Armadale on Skye, a castle in ruins but still a significant landmark, and Finnegan, a powerful site on Islay. The MacDougalls supported the House of Stuart during the Scottish Civil War of the 17th century and during the Jacobite risings of the 18th century. They fought alongside the Jacobites during the 1745 and 46 uprisings. The Old Clan Donald, also known as Clan MacDonald, is oldest and largest of Scotland's clans, with roots tracing back to the warlord Somerled in the 12th century. So there's a little history lesson. In short, these dudes were literally second to kings. So let's get back to the Grey Dog of Meoble. So, tale goes it's about a dog that walks about when there's a death in certain families. The story's first recorded instances date to the first half of the 19th century. It's linked to the crofting hamlet of Meoble, near the shores of Loch Morar. Now, the crofting hamlet of Meoble, pronounced Meoble, is nearly abandoned isolated settlement in South Morar, Highland, Scotland. located on the eastern banks of the River Meoble. The area was used as a training base by French special operative agents during World War II. It was used by SOE before they returned to France to conduct acts of sabotage, which are deliberate actions to damage, destroy, or obstruct the operations of a rival organization, government, or effort. Now, this dog we spoke about involves the Scottish Deerhound, whose owner was away for many years. So, the young Highlander, Donald, who was the son of the local landowner, went off to fight for his king and country, thus leaving his beloved Deerhound dog behind because he went away to the Peninsular Wars.
So yeah, the whole dog was distraught. So the hound went to live on a small island in the middle of a small loch nearby, where she brought up 4 pups. Now this dog was a magnificent deerhound, and both were very fond of each other. Obviously, they spent a lot of time together, right? Up until the time that he dipped out for the war. Now, in some tales, I found the dog's name was Elisay. So when MacDonald returned from the war, he was greeted by his family and news that his dog had had some pups, and they were almost fully grown. Now, he was warned that due to their lack of human contact, they became so savage that it was unsafe to go anywhere near them. But this dude ignored the warning, so he set out to visit the hillock. So he swam to this island to be reunited with his hound. But it was her pups that he found first, and they fucking attacked him, savagely tearing him to pieces. So they straight up killed him.
That's nuts, dude.
Well, I mean, this is why they're on the island, I guess, right? Seclusion. They don't fucking know any human contact.
Those dogs are assholes.
Uh.
Alright.
So the dog ended up hearing the ruckus and ventured over, and then seeing her master dead as she returned, the deerhound let out howls of agony, which brought the people of Meoble to the scene. Dougal's body here was laid to rest in a little burial ground at the mouth of Meoble River. Now, I'll just tell you a little bit more about this happening spot. It's kind of really remote, difficult to access. Like I said, it's mostly an unvisited location. And it's kind of just a strange, dark, heather-covered area. Kind of meaning like the hills are covered with purple flowers and stuff. That's what the heather is. Now, after the master's death, the deerhound began a lonely, pathetic vigil, frequently waking up the neighborhood with her mournful howling as she watched over her master's grave. Some time passed, the pups were obviously killed by the clan, and the mother dog just started hanging out around the master's grave, until one day she was found dead, just laying right over his grave. Now, even dog attacks, like, they could be brutal as fuck, Like, dogs can attack, they can seriously injure, or even kill people, right? In this case, they fucking killed him. But, I mean, it's rare.
Yeah, they got them teeth and they use them, They can tear flesh open. And if they get at your neck, you know what I mean? You're pretty much done for. So, dogs can attack and seriously injure or even kill people in rare but serious incidents, which causes ranging from fear based on aggression and lack of proper socialization to medical conditions like rage syndrome. While devastating, human-directed attacks are not common. Understanding warning signs like growling and stiffness is a good idea. Although there are a variety of reasons dogs may attack humans, like their animalistic instincts, sometimes dogs are traumatized and stuff too, and they will act accordingly. You know, certain noises or pain from injury, illness, disease, who knows? But some dogs are just dickheads, honestly, especially the smaller ones. So back to it. Some years later, as MacDonald's brother was laying ill in his bed, a place called Ryfern, a small crofting township lying across the river from the graveyard, the ghost of the deerhound appeared at his bedside. It looked at him for several minutes. Soon after the ghost of the old gray dog appeared, giving a terrible howl, it wasn't long until the man died. The loch is called Lakentain Michdul, meaning Little Loch of Dougal's Castle. After this, anyone in the clan that was close to death or on their deathbed, the ghosts of the Grey Dog started to appear to warn the MacDonalds and McDougals of their impending deaths. The legend is still a big thing and still well known in the region, with stories of the spectral dog being retold in both the local area and further afield, even here in good old Canada. Eh? Some say this ghost dog is the breed of the Scottish Deerhound, or simply the Deerhound, which is a breed of large sighthound. I don't even know what a deerhound looks like. It was once bred to hunt the red deer by coursing. In outward appearance, it is similar to the greyhound, but larger and more heavily boned, with a very rough-looking coat. The Grey Dog's other distinguishing features include an unearthly, wailing bark. I'll give a description of the dog. Height for the males is about 30 inches. The height for females is about 28 inches. Weight for males is about 100 pounds or 45 kilograms, and females are roughly like 80 pounds or 36 kilograms, give or take. They come in different colors as well, like blue-gray, gray, brindle, yellow, sandy red, or red fawns with black points. White on the chest, toes, and tip of the tail is permissible. In outward appearance, the Scottish Deerhound is similar to the Greyhound, but larger and more heavily boned. Deerhounds have a number of characteristics that set them apart, though. Shit like not being as fast as a Greyhound on smooth, firm surfaces, but once the dog gets going, they can outrun a Greyhound. The environment in which they worked in was very chill and cool. Sometimes wet areas and hilly Scottish Highlands glens contributed to the larger, rough-coated appearance of the breed. Their heads are long, the skull is flat. The eyes are dark brown or hazel in color. The teeth also should form a level, complete scissor bite. The long, straight, or curved tail is well covered with hair and should almost reach the ground. Scottish Deerhounds are known for their calm and sensitive nature, though they can be slow to obey. Despite their size, they enjoy long naps, but also require sufficient daily exercise. They found a life expectancy is 10.5 years for the breed compared to an average of 12.7 for purebreds and 12 for crossbreeds. Although they were once nearly extinct in the 1700s, they were restored and survive into the 21st century.
See, they're good dogs. And like Josh said here, like the breed nearly went extinct in the late 1700s. And the reason for this was after the fall of the Scottish nobility. So some people are not interested in owning like large dogs and shit, right? Which is also a factor in the breed's limited popularity. Now, the fall of the Scottish nobility, especially in the Highlands, culminated after the Jacobite Rebellion of 1745, which was decisively crushed at the Battle of Culloden in 1746. So this led to the dismantling of the clan system, the loss of feudal authority by clan chiefs, and the imposition of restrictions that eroded the traditional power base of the Scottish nobility. Now, this was actually particularly in the Highlands and shit, right? Now, the Acts of the Union in 1707 also contributed to this shift by dismantling the Scottish Parliament and consolidating power under the Crown. So, there's some random facts. And the most common cause of death was cardiac related. So this made up like nearly a quarter of all deaths. Now the second most common was cancer. This made up like 18% of the deaths for the dog. Now the deerhound initially was bred to hunt red deer by coursing and deer stalking. Red deer is a large species of deer, scientifically known as the Cervus elephas. It's very distinguished. You can see its reddish-brown coat in the summer. It has a large branched antlers, mostly on males, and a really large body size. Females are like medium size and shit. Now it's native to much of Europe, Western Asia, and parts of North Africa, and it's also one of the largest deer species, and is sometimes referred to as wapiti or elk in North America. Now the red deer are hunted. They're used for like venison production and shit, and they have also been introduced to other continents where they could be considered an invasive species. Now deer stalking here, especially with the dog and everything, they use a highly trained dog, often a gun dog or tracking hound. This is used by the stalkers to find live deer by scent or to recover a shot deer that fucks off as a shot, right? Sometimes they take off and they're scared and stuff. Now, effective deer dogs are calm, reliable, steady to gunshot, and they have a natural instinct to hunt, with the ability to work independently and obey handler commands just to maintain control and position during a stalk hunt. Now, in coursing the deer here, a single deer hound or a pair was brought with them, and they would get as close as possible to the red deer and then released to run one of them down. And they would do this by like having wicked speed, because this would be like wicked successful, and it would only happen within a few minutes, right? So like after they're shot, deer would fuck off, and the dog would just go after it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, this whole great dog legend here, it's kind of morphed over the years too. I mean, people tell different tales, and they add in shit over time. So sometimes little details get added in.
So there's present day Mora residents that think of the hound as a ghostly creature, kind of similar to a she wolf that's heard and even seen on stormy nights. So I looked up the earliest known appearance and it dates back to 1896. This is by the folklorist dude named Father Allan MacDonald of Eriskay. The first printed version was a book by a Mora fisherman named James MacDonald, published in Inverness in 1907. This is called The Tales of the Highlands. Only 2 copies of this work are known to survive, one of them in anonymous private hands, and the other in the tiny heritage center in the fishing village of Mallaig. I don't know.
Ow, my leg.
Mallaig?
Ow, my leg.
Ow, my leg. Okay.
And like, there's also some Canadian parts of the tradition here. Numerous Moor Highlanders emigrated to Nova Scotia in the course of the 19th century. Now, details lie in Gaelic manuscript here that's actually preserved in the Sruth Nan Gateheel collection of the St. Francis Xavier University Library back in Cape Breton. Now, that's actually where I'm from, so, pretty cool shit.
Hell yeah.
So tradition has it that Dugald MacDonald's grave still lies in the disused and overrun Meoble Cemetery near the south shores of Loch Morar. Now, though it's kind of worn out, its inscription is almost unreadable, and it's impossible to distinguish it from other memorials or graves that are kicking around the area. Now, there's also another tale here that I found that revolves around an old Highland lady who lived in Glasgow in the early 1900s, and whose family were closely related to the MacDonalds of Meoble. Now, according to this story, the old woman had lived alone, and she'd been confined to her room for many years. Now, a friend of hers who lived across the street, it was habit that she would go over and attend to her needs and stuff, so she would call on her each day. Now, on one occasion, as the friend was leaving the flat, a large dog, or a type that she's never seen before, passed her on the stairs. She thought no more about it until the following day, when, much to her surprise, she saw it again. Now this time it was lying on the old lady's doorstep. So with a little bit of difficulty, she kind of pushed it aside. She went in, and in the course of the conversation, she happened to mention the dog, and her friend, lying on her deathbed here, sat up, and her eyes kind of lit up. She's like, "Describe him to me," she said in a low voice. "Well," said the other, "it was very big, about the size of a Shetland pony, gray in color, with a long curly tail." And the old lady said, "Ah," and then she had like this smile on her face. And then she sank back on her pillow, and then she passed away. Now, another tale, this is sometime in the 1950s. A big gray dog was seen lying on the front hall of a well-known Oban hotel. Now, no one amongst the guests owned up to owning it or anything. The manager's like, "Who the fuck owns this dog? Why is this dog here?" They're like, "We don't know. We don't own the dog." He asked this like several times to everybody, right? But whatever, nobody fessed up to it, and the dog had continued to return. So that evening, the hall porter was found dead in his room, and it was later discovered that he was the MacDonald of Meoble. So once again, the gray dog had kept her faithful rendezvous, coming when the people are going to die. And it seemed that the gray dog shows up at the birth of a baby as well here. Now, this is a baby of the MacDonalds, and it wasn't only in Scotland, too. This was in like the mid-1800s. So many of the MacDonalds of Meoble and Loch Morar were forced to emigrate to Prince Edward Island in the Gulf of St. Lawrence before moving into Nova Scotia. So, one time here, one of their descendants was due to give birth at home, and shortly before the baby arrived, the midwife and another woman who were present saw the gray dog standing, looking into the room window, and he was trying to enter to, get in and check out this baby and whatnot. So, if you were one of these people when wandering alone in the hills or working in like the garden here, and you have an uneasy feeling that you were being watched by like some unseen presence and stuff, it's most likely the fucking deerhound dog, and he's come to tell you something. And that is that you're gonna die.
That's it, folks. A little short tale for you, but a tale nonetheless. I thank you for joining us for another pod, and have yourself a glorious day. Follow Tubbsy on YouTube for more shit.
Oh, and we do mean shit.
Shit.
So I thank you very much for joining me, Josh. This is a pretty cool tale, I think, just something fucking random, right?
Yeah, that's cool. This dog comes, everybody's reporting it. Dog comes to the birth. Somebody's probably like, "Oh, look, I saw the dog at the birth." They were just bullshitting. It was one time.
Yeah,
But every other time when a
Dougal.
fucking McDonald died, everybody was like, "Oh shit, the dog, the dog."
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It's a good story.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for doing it with me, dude. That was fun.
No worries, man. I'll have something else from a couple days.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Peace.
Peace.
Twisted Tales.